Okay, I don't remember what we were saying, but let's talk. Let's talk. Have you been to Ukraine?
Yes, I've been to Ukraine.
Was it nice when you were there?
It's a beautiful country, man. There's a lot of culture, a lot of uh, a lot of old history. It's intertwined with Russian history since fucking you know before Genghis Khan took over all those areas and all that stuff. So it is one people. As they're trying to sell here that are two separate, very different cultures. If you look at Ukrainian language, what is Ukrainian language? Ukrainian language is slightly modified Church Slavonic language. It's old Russian language used in Russian churches. That's what Ukrainian language is.
So didn't the people vote to basically be Russia? They had a politician in place. The
Yeah,
United States, the CIA overthrew him.
They had Yanukovych in place, who wanted to put on hold with integration with European Union thing, and by that point, the devil incarnated herself, Victoria Nuland, openly admitted that U.S. by that point already invested $5 billion into Ukraine. The fuck you think they invested it into buying chocolates from Ukraine? No, it was about all fucking uprising and all that stuff. Where most of that was invested, and was invested in Western Ukraine, in the area which is Lviv and all those areas where they still wear swastikas to today. That's where they killed 50 fucking thousand Polish officers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The fascism there is very, very much alive. Very much alive, and people will bring up interesting, again, history from the perspective of victimhood, right? Holodomor, right? The starvation of Ukrainian nation under Stalin in the 30s, right? I have news for you. It was starvation throughout the Soviet Union because of collectivization, because they crushed the fucking independent big farmers and all that stuff, and they collectivized everything. You know what I mean?
Kind of happening in the United States.
Yeah. And Ukraine during World War One was basically controlled by Austrian-Hungarian Empire. And they are, as most Germanic people are, very regimented. So the main crop, and almost in some areas the only crop growing in Ukraine, was corn. Due to orders coming from Austrian-Hungarian Empire. So when the whole fucking collectivization hit, guess what? Ukraine suffered the heaviest because they didn't have no other crops. So percentage-wise, yeah, they lost the highest percentage, but overall in Soviet Union, it's not just 7 million Ukrainians that died from fucking hunger. It was 30 million others too.
Yeah, you don't hear that. You hear Holodomor a lot.
Yeah, you hear Holodomor, right? So this is not to blame Ukrainians. They were put in position by occupying forces of Hungarian Austrian Empire. You know what I mean? But now the history is being presented in such a way, and and they manipulate. Like devil is presenter of the facts, manipulator of the facts, but he's not telling you the whole fucking truth. And it's like that. And in Ukraine, I have a lot of friends. I served with fucking guys on both sides of the war now. I have Ukrainian friends that fight for Ukraine. I have Russians that live in Ukraine and Donbass area that I serve with together. I have a guy who fucking, and I'm not gonna expose much, but he's a high commanding officer in Ukrainian Special Operations Forces, what our media here calls SBU. These are the guys that go and snatched out the traitors and all that stuff. Okay, little do I know, he contacts me through this one gal. His father served with me in the military together, in Soviet military. He died in Africa as a contractor a couple years ago. He reached out to me. He's like, what do I do? What's right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that fucking Western media doesn't say, and what's going on there, man. It's pathetic. And you see how easily people dragged after fucking how many years now? 7 years minimum. If we just rewind back to 2016, Russian collusion, Trump, and KGB agent, and then this, and then Syria war, and then chemical weapons being used in Syria, and then 2020 election, and then BLM and white supremacy and racism, and then fucking pandemic and all that stuff. We all know all of this was bullshit and lie, but all of a sudden they're telling us the truth and nothing but the truth about Ukraine.
And then all of a sudden the report comes out yesterday, right?
Yeah.
It says it was all bullshit. Partially, cleared his name.
So, you look at that, and not even that long ago, I used to get like angry and upset about it. And, and when James, went to Ukraine and all that stuff, it fucking touched me, man.
Yeah.
Because I know James as a smart guy and a righteous guy for the most part. You know what I mean? But it just shows you how easily people can be manipulated through emotional thing. Oh, this is about freedom and independence. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Give us a little bit of history that we don't know, like the parts we're not told. Tell us what you would want, what should be known that's not.
Okay, well, Ukrainian history is interesting in the sense that Ukraine as a nation and the culture really is not separated from the Russian world identity up until about probably late 16th, 17th century. It was one. Ukrainian nationalism started with Cossack movements,
And what did Cossack? That meant farmers, right?
No, they more like fucking nomads.
Okay.
They're more like warrior nomads.
But they wouldn't
independent. They would not submit to power.
We're not going to grow our crops to give to you.
They can be contracted, fight for us, in exchange for this or this or this or that. But they were like a wild card, folks. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of exoticism about it because they're free and wild, and you know what I mean. And they are warrior culture. They like Spartans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, they prepare from fucking childhood, fucking.
Like Vikings.
4-year-old babies are swinging kettlebells and fucking shashkas, sharp swords, and training with the live blades and all that stuff. For men especially, that's like, you go like, fuck yeah, man. This is toxic masculinity from the fucking infancy on. That's beautiful, right? So a lot of that identity started forming then, but for the most part since then it was guided. It was guided, and it was guided, and I hate to say it, but it was guided by Western cultures. From UK to Austria to Germany to Poland, and now US and EU. And for us to say that we care about Ukrainian people, it's very cynical, man.
Well, on social media, the stand with Ukraine, you were black-fisting fucking 6 months before that.
Yeah.
They don't know what the fuck they stand with.
Not that long ago, they also stood with Chechnya.
Yeah.
These are what my friend Bart Stewart calls it. These are grazers. Whatever they
sheep,
they'll graze on it. You know what I mean? And he has, not to plug anybody, but my friend Bart, he's the guy who almost died 26 years ago with a needle, and now accepted his cross.
Plug him. What do you got?
No, he has a little podcast and all that stuff, but he's one of the best wordsmiths that I've known in my life. So he comes up with these terms. He calls grazers, and then he has Pollyannas, and then it's all hashtags, and it's truth cock, and it's mental gymnastics, and he has these explanations that are fucking phenomenal.
What's the name of his podcast?
Reverend Bart's America.
Reverend Bart's America. All right.
Take a look, man. It's really, actually, he tells the story of what happened on that Sunday in a very compelling way, because he truly a wordsmith.
While we're there, what's the name of your podcast?
Gospel of Violence podcast.
I knew what it was. I wanted you to tell them what it was.
Yeah, it's Gospel of Violence. So still working on things, but anyway. But it's he defines Pollyannas as those who are they just wave with the flavor of the fucking month. What's the issue? You know what I mean? They wave flags. They actually people that wish good. They're just too fucking dumb, and they're not disciplined enough to think about it. They're fearful to go deeper into the issues. You know what I mean? They're like, everyone says that Russia bad, Ukraine is democracy. If you've been to Ukraine, you would see that democracy, you would shit your fucking pants with that democracy. Latest news, everyone is celebrating. U.S. Patriot rockets shot down the Russian hypersonic Kinzhal missiles. have you looked at the stock of the Raytheon in the last 2 days?
Yeah.
Producer of Patriot. Why the fuck did it drop 8%? You think that's because they shot down the Russian Kinzhal missiles? Or one battery of Patriots got destroyed? 7 people in Kiev that fucking filmed the destruction of Patriot missiles are all arrested by Ukrainian SBU, democracy. They're probably never going to be seen again. So when you motherfuckers out there, and you know what, you have absolute right to fucking dress your Facebook pages in Ukrainian flags and all that. It does not hurt my feelings. But you know what? Have some fucking courage to ask uncomfortable questions. Have some fucking courage, intellectual courage to ask fucking questions. And then it may take you to fucking intellectual gravity where you're really going to be uncomfortable, where you arrive with the conclusions. Like, really uncomfortable.
Give me some uncomfortable questions. What should they be asking?
Why have we, so far, U.S., through appropriations and presidential decrees and all that stuff, have sent in just over a year amount of money that dwarfs the whole Russian defense yearly budget? To help Ukrainian democracy?
Why are we doing it? What's it really about?
To contain Russia.
To contain Russia.
That's it. They not even hiding it. They say, like, whatever it takes to weaken Russia. They openly said, these are fucking defense secretary of U.S. Whatever it takes to weaken Russia.
You don't think we're just pushing them into an alliance with fucking China?
Unintended consequence, yeah.
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 And I mean, we kicked them off the SWIFT system, right? The United States kicks them off the SWIFT system. Didn't seem to fucking phase them. I mean, they took all that fucking money, and now they're back in currency with fucking gold.
Yep.
Which the United States should be fucking doing.
No, there's only 2 countries with the currency backed by gold: Japan and Russia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think all of a sudden fucking Saudi Arabia accepts the motherfucking payments in yuans?
Yep. Instead of U.S. dollars, which hasn't happened in how many years?
And there's a reason why U.S. dollar is called petrodollar, because that's the only thing it's tied to.
Yeah.
Once fucking yuan and ruble and other currencies step in,
and you have countries dumping U.S. dollars,
you're going to see what really fiat currency dollar is.
Yeah. So how fast is that felt in the United States when that happens?
When it happens, it's going to be within fucking few months. It's going to hit so hard, it's going to be fucking ridiculous. You think they say that inflation was, 8 or 9% and all that stuff. No, the real inflation is more in the 20s.
If even that low.
Yeah.
And that was fucking how long ago was it really 20? I mean, what is it really today?
We probably would be very uncomfortable to find out that number.
Right. I mean,
because it would get very scary.
Everything that comes in that door in there is up at least 50%. Like, we used to have semi-trucks pull in just a couple of years ago. Semi-trucks would pull in, and it was about $250 is what we'd pay, and we'd write a check for freight. That motherfucker's $800 today.
I know that. I mean, I'm a poor guy, so I bought an additional building for my son to have his own bedroom and his own bathroom, separate house, and all that stuff, right? So, because of my legal expenses and all that stuff, going through the fucking, custody battle and all that stuff, I'm like, I could have spent $7 fucking grand to hire the fucking contractor, but now I'm going to sit down for 3 days and watch YouTube videos and do it all myself.
Yeah.
Right? And then I go to fucking hardware store to buy lumber and drywall and all that stuff. And I go like, I'm fucking triple paying what I paid fucking 3 years ago to do our first house. Triple paying.
This building was $7,500. I bought it on a repo. When we went 10 months later, I think, right? 10 months later, it was $15,000. Fucking 10 months later.
Yeah. Prices of lumber, of drywall, fucking PVC pipes. Have you looked at the fucking prices of fucking plumbing and shit? Like, holy fuck. Look at the fucking...
Just last bulkhead fittings that we were paying, fucking $5 for are like $20 right now.
Electrical cable.
Yep.
Fuck.
We ran a piece of... well, I guess it doesn't matter. We bought a piece of direct burial cable that was 50 feet long, and it was $700? $700. Fucking, I mean, like, what the fuck is it made of? Gold? But yeah, it's crazy, man. So
when they're talking about 8.5% inflation, I go like, fuck numbers you looking at? And how do you come up with that? But it's kind of similar, like they say, what is our GDP, right? And I go like, if you remove the service industries and banking and all that stuff, our GDP is not what you say. And you know what? If they expose the real GDP, our fucking GDP to debt ratio would mean that we are fucking bankrupt.
Especially with all the money we just sent over to Ukraine.
And we are.
Yeah.
But we're printing, we're raising the debt ceiling and all that stuff. And every fucking Pollyanna and Grazer thinks that we can do another year of that and another 5 years of that. Dude, it's coming to a fucking crash like you've never seen in your life.
I heard a guy today, I assume he's a congressman or something. He's like, you crypto bros, you just create money. And I know you say that the United States just creates money, but we're the United States government. Like, he just admit, yeah, we know. We know.
No shit, brother. Thanks for honesty. Finally, right?
So do you, when you were young and you would go, did you have to go to a grocery store on certain days? And
yeah.
So tell us what that.
Walk to a grocery store.
Walk to a grocery. Tell us what that looked like. Like, give me.
So let's say I'm 8 years old, right? I come back from school, whether on foot or on the public transportation or whatnot. No one's stopping traffic for school buses and all that. No, you look left, you look right, and some kids get hit by drunk drivers, and it fucking happens, and it's tragedy. And you know what I mean? You learning fucking accountability from early days. Life does not bend down to you and around you. You know what I mean?
A kid that makes it to be an adult, he's a tough motherfucker, just out of necessity.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be in mom's basement.
There's no kid
until
gloves.
He's fucking 32. You know what I mean? He fucking actually cannot get out of his mother's fucking and father's apartment when he's 17 because he wants to start his own fucking life. Because you learn, right? So at age of 8, right, I come back from school. It's about 2:30. Okay, on the table, my parents are at work, so I make sure that there's no bad guys following me. I unlock the door. I get into our apartment, and there's a list written on the paper. Dust the furniture, mop the floors, obviously do the homework, go to the store, get 6 bottles of milk, get loaf of bread, get this, turn in the empty bottles because everything was in the glass. There was no plastic. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
And you take empty bottles back and you get 15 cents for each bottle. Well, kopayeks we call it, but equivalent of 15 cents, let's say, right? And so you go there, so mom or dad, whatever, left you fucking 6 rubles and 50 cents, right? $6 and let's say 50 cents equivalent. Just for ease of understanding, right? And that's gonna cover your milk, your bread, your butter, your something else, and you're gonna buy some hot dogs, equivalent of hot dogs, which are actually made of real fucking meat, not guts, and
ammonia.
Who knows ammonia and other chemicals together. It's actual meat. Maybe it's organ meat like liver and hearts and all that stuff, but it's also raised healthy, and so you go there. I would say at least twice a month. Other kids, usually older kids, try to take your money on the way to the store. So you get in the fight. And you don't want that money to be taken away from you because guess what? Your parents work hard and that $6.50 is 5% of their monthly salary. You fight.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you lose and they take your money. And if you come home without money and you're not fucking covered in blood, they're going to be like, are you a pussy? You know what I mean? So it was normal, man. You know what I mean? And then as an 8-year-old kid, you're dragging back fucking 2.5 gallons of milk. That's a lot of weight for an 8-year-old kid. And you're walking a mile back home. Bad weather, raining, tough shit. You know what I mean? And you expected to get all this shit at home done and all that stuff because if you don't, there is a punishment. Guess what? You don't have luxuries like fucking cell phones and Nintendos and Tetris and none of that shit. You know what I mean? Not every family has a car. Forget about families having 2 fucking cars.
I was going to ask about cars in a minute.
My dad bought his first car at the age of fucking 32. First car at the age of 32.
Because he was allowed to at 32?
He was allowed.
Yeah.
No, he actually had waited for 4 years in line until... And my mom became a member of Communist Party to speed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Not because she's a commie. She was a fucking hardcore Christian. You know what I mean?
Right.
Of Polish and Russian descent. And so you kind of... you kind of look at kids here and generations here, and I go like, you know, through connections of my dad who worked in this distribution center, he would find out that this store in the next district in the city on this day, they will have delivery of 1 truck of fucking bananas.
This is the story. I've heard this. This is what I'm...
You know, and your mother, after doing her fucking 8 hours at work and using public transportation to get back home after taking care of her mother, my grandmother, and all that stuff, would get on the bus at 9 p.m., drive there on the bus, and wait in line over a line to be allowed to buy 4 bananas. You fucking tell that to fucking people here, and I go like, I don't think you can comprehend what it means.
Yep.
We're not the same. You know what I mean? What's fucking air conditioner? First time I experienced air conditioner when I went fucking Dubai. Mm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have people here during rolling blackouts that die.
Yeah.
Literally just, I don't know if they just sit down and die or they just fucking choose to die, but their fucking AC doesn't work, so they die.
I think that they are so weak.
Yeah.
Their immune systems, because of their lifestyle, of what they eat, of what they use, and how weak they are here.
Man, I think a lot of it,
they are predestined to fucking die.
I think it's just mental, a lot of it.
It
They
is.
just like, oh, I'd rather just die.
They're already dead.
Yeah, turn it off.
They just don't know that they're dead, but they're already fucking dead.
Yeah.
They're walking fucking corpses. And that's a significant portion of our country, man.
Yeah, they keep saying prepare for a cold, dark winter, right? And at the same time, they're banning natural gas. And I just heard the
right?
EPA, their goal is by 2030 to have no more coal-fired or natural gas power plants. Well, what the fuck are you going to use then? Solar? That's working great in California.
Yeah, awesome. Electric cars also work out really fucking good.
Yeah,
right?
they're about to push, the post office has to have such a percentage of their vehicles be electric. And the lady, we were talking to him here, she's like, yeah, as soon as one breaks, they're just going to push them in the back. Nobody's going to fix them.
John, the newest U.S. Army tank, Abrams X, is going to have fucking hybrid engine.
Really?
Yes.
I with this all
What's
this
next fucking generation aircraft carrier is going to be all electric.
With all the, well, it is, I mean, it's nuclear, with the ESG shit, right? You have these corporations, not even like giant ones, you have corporations because of the tax breaks and shit buying these electric cars, and they go to the municipality and they're like, hey, we need more electricity, and they're like, yeah, we can't do it. Like to charge those cars you guys just bought would take more power than the rest of the fucking town takes.
We don't have infrastructure.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Like most of the motherfucking streets in your suburbia and all that stuff, if 6 houses on that street had Teslas with their fucking chargers, that would fry the motherfucking...
Right.
the infrastructure. You know? So I go like, I appreciate your fucking noble goals of saving the climate and all that shit, and I think Teslas are fucking very pleasant cars to drive. They're fast, they're fucking great technology and all that stuff. I ain't gonna see me fucking getting a Tesla truck, I tell you that.
Correct. Yeah, or a Ford Light, any of that bullshit. We are going to put some solar panels up. So we have power when motherfuckers don't have power, right? It's not to, because I don't give a fuck about saving the environment.
You know what? Environment is gonna be just fine.
Yes, that's right.
You know, this rock is much more resilient than we give it credit for.
Yeah, yeah. It's been here a little longer than we have.
It survived much bigger things than fucking...
And it's all bullshit. I mean, I'm more worried about the chemicals they're spraying up in the fucking sky every day.
Or what they put in our food, in our soil.
Yes, all the poisons. Yeah. And the packaging.
And the water.
Yep.
And every product that you put on your skin and on your baby's ass when you wipe it, and on and on and on, and what they need to be injected because it's mandated by school district, because you cannot go school unless you have fucking vaccines. Guess what? Aria is being homeschooled. She's not
I think that's a big point. I think that's a big push to the CBDC, right? How can we control you even greater, right?
Yep.
Oh well, sure, we got this thing. Here's some financial. You don't have the thing. Oh yeah, you can't have this.
I'm, you know, with Aria, me and Megan, we already decided she's not going to any public schools or even private schools. We're going to do homeschooling. There are people like Jordan Peterson that I think that are planning and actually working actively to roll out homeschooling programs.
Yeah, and you got Tim Kennedy doing it. I mean, there's a bunch of dudes. Yeah.
So
they said 5 million kids this year didn't show up to government school.
Yep. You know what? The more the better.
To the indoctrination.
Or
Yeah, you think that's a public school? Go swing on the swing. See how that goes for you.
Yeah, yeah, public school, my ass. It's there's a great book that I can recommend, and it's called, and I forgot the name who wrote it, but it's Crime of the Educators. Crimes of the Educators. It's fucking scary.
You ever did you ever go to juvenile hall? Kid prison, kid jail?
No.
You ever go to jail?
Oh, I've been to jail.
Yeah. Schools look a lot like jails.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know, especially in the fucking urban centers. Holy fuck, man. They like, some hospitals and schools actually, I think, look scarier than some fucking incarceration facilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like seriously. You walk those hallways and you go like, man, this is where bad shit happens, right?
Yep. Yeah, like an asylum.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Oh, next is, I don't know, man. Whatever happens, I'm learning acceptance that things happen for a reason, and sometimes I don't understand the reasons. It's work on yourself, becoming more disciplined, becoming more determined, learning new things. We now that our legal thing is done and all that stuff, and we can hopefully put away some money, we're gonna start a little bit more with the livestock and and proteins and all that stuff. Fortunately, where we live, there's so many ranchers and all that stuff with the grass-fed, good stuff, and we have freezers, so we buy
clean food.
Yeah, half a.
We call that real food.
Real food. So we buy lamb, we buy beef, we buy chicken, we store big quantities of it and have it, and obviously we grow the greens, the vegetables, the other stuff. So I'm gonna expand a little bit on that, get some chickens, get some other stuff, possibly some rabbits. Talking to a couple of neighbors, maybe we'll get some cattle as well.
How much property are you on?
I'm just on 10 acres.
That's what we got here.
Yeah, it's a small property, but that's the minimum needed for ag exemption for tax purposes.
Yeah, we can't get it. We don't have enough to be ag exempt.
Yeah. Well, actually, take a look at each state. Like I discovered that in Texas, if I have 5 beehives, I can get tax exemption.
Got it. Yep. Just like wildlife stuff.
Take a look at that, because each state has some interesting provisions that are not very much advertised for obvious reasons. They don't want people to get that. But when you go into small municipalities like in the county where we live at, fucking people are actually helpful in the fucking in the county government. They go like, hey, they give me the papers, contact this is what you need, and they don't even need to be your hives. If someone who's already doing the honey business for 5 years and they put their hives, you get the fucking ag exemption,
which is wonderful for your plants and stuff. Do you have high tunnels and greenhouses or anything?
I have greenhouses.
Yeah,
I have greenhouses, but we're getting a lot more. We order, waiting for shipment of more like raised beds, like you have above the ground raised beds and all that stuff. That way we can have closer to the house stuff, like fucking constantly use stuff like arugulas and basils and that kind of stuff, because I want to teach our daughter from early days when she already started walking, but when I allow her to step out of the house, I go pick up me a couple of fucking
where
cucumbers.
Real food comes from.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way she learns that shit and she's not attracted to fucking Coca-Colas and sugars and fucking, the replacement meat burgers and shit like that. I'm like, I've been blessed with opportunity to swallow a couple of red fucking pills, and I'm going to pass it on to this child. I failed my other children because I was not red pilled yet. But now Nick is learning the value of that too. He goes like, I never ate fucking more tasty and healthier food in my life.
Right.
And we don't go out.
Yeah.
Other than for special occasions, for sushi, or very rarely. Even if I go to a fucking high-end steakhouse, I go like, it's not really.
Yeah, there's something wrong with this.
That a steak that I do at home.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're here in town doing 5 days of class.
Yeah, I'm doing 3 separate classes, 2 two-day classes, and then one day more like a lecture class about conflict management. So it's more like a verbal judo, how to avoid violence.
Can anybody come take your classes?
Yeah.
What would you recommend they do to prepare to be your student?
Just make peace that discomfort is good for you. Discomfort is very, very healthy state to be in. And whether it's physical discomfort, mental discomfort, or even spiritual discomfort, iron sharpens iron. Discomfort is iron. We've been led to believe that happiness is comfort.
Give me an example of what discomfort in one of your classes would be. What does that mean?
Well, discomfort in my classes may start with something as simple as me pointing a gun at you.
Okay.
But you never saw me clear it. So you're unsure. And I may not even tell you if I did clear it or if it was still a loaded weapon that I pointed at you. And some people will lose their shit. And no, I'm not going to disclose if that weapon was unloaded or loaded. It's going to stay with me. I do it for the reasons that are psychological. You know, and it's funny, then I have an instructor who's instructor somewhere else, and I give him a gun and I go like, point it at me. And he's refusing to point it at me. And I go like, so when it's real, you will be able to point it, right? Mm. I'm like, this is very real. I'm telling you, fucking point it at me. Don't be a bitch. Keep your finger off the trigger, but point the fucking gun at me. And I'm like, you think that's not going to transfer into your ability to fight? You think somehow you're going to rise up to the occasion and be fucking just ruthless, boom, and blow someone's head off when it's needed? Or you're going to hesitate for 2 seconds, and as a result, you're going to lose your daughter because someone's going to cut her throat? Like, you think too fucking highly of yourself because you haven't been pushed into discomfort. You know what I mean? You hiding under safety rules, under, you know, safety is our utmost priority in this school. Fuck you. You know what my first priority in my school? Competence and violence. And that comes with certain risks. I'm going to try to mitigate them the best I can. And in one occasion in my life, I failed. You know? Fortunately, nobody died. But I'm not gonna fucking change it into this, you know, artificially clean, safe environment where family can have safe activities together and all that stuff. No, this is for bad mofos that are ready to face real fucking violence. And that shit is nasty, scary, ugly, dirty, and unpredictable. It's fucking chaos. And if you don't prepare yourself to chaos in training, if you think everything is going to be boxed in some kind of comfort that you can accept and fucking like, you're a delusional bitch.
Why do you think that most people walking around in society, for instance, let's go to Nashville, okay? We're walking around society. We look around. Most people have never experienced violence. Why do you think that is?
We reject violence as an expression of evil. What we forget that violence more often in history has been used as a righteous tool to protect the right things. And I think it comes from the point that we in society no longer have a healthy ability to call evil evil and good good. We have to accept minor attracted person. It's not evil. It's just a mental disorder, and we have to accommodate and accept that. We can't be judgmental to these people.
Yeah, we're not.
Fuck you, a pedophile.
It's mean to call him pedophile. Yeah.
No, you're a pedo, and you know where pedo belongs? In the ditch.
I think that the powers that be, many of them are pedos themselves.
They are.
And I think that, like this guy that they just choked out on the subway, right? He threatened a bunch of people. 3 people subdued him. They brought him into a recovery position. He still died. They've charged this man now. There's $2.5 million in a GoFundMe, which they're going to probably take.
They will.
Yeah, they're going to take the money away. But they want society to be scared to defend themselves, right? They want you to always be a victim and always live in a state of fear. Because if you're in a state of fear, you can't rest and you can't move forward, right?
And you can't be productive.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And I think it's by design. They bring evil upon you to keep you in that state of fight or flight so that you can never achieve another level. Because if you achieve another level, you don't need them, right? No. We no longer mind because you no longer matter. But it's all by design. If you and I got together and we're like, okay, I know where these pedophiles are. Let's go and pedophiles know where other pedophiles are, right? What club are you? Where are you getting your shit, right? So we grab a motherfucker up, we snatch him up, we get some information, we hit another target. They find this guy hung in fucking Court Square. They find this guy hung with a note fucking in his front yard, right? The feds would spend more money chasing you and I
than finding other pedophiles.
Than finding the other pedophiles.
Yes, of course.
Always. Any criminal.
Always.
Because they allow it.
Because that existence of that and allowing that to exist and even flourish
justifies
them increasing their power and control of the rest of the population.
Your Patriot Acts and your shit.
Yes. Yes. And it is by design, because what you were just saying now in the past 2 minutes, it's pretty much what the character called Nefarious said in that movie. Without knowing it, you just said that. You know what I mean? So it is by design, John. This is not accidental. This is not some kind of a fucking conspiracy theory of us stupid hicks in the woods of Texas, of Tennessee, fucking imagining that there's this evil fucking elites trying to control us. Fucking listen to what they say. Can you hear what they say? Do you have ears to hear? Because they don't even fucking hide it anymore.
Yeah, they tell you. Why don't you believe it?
Yeah. I mean, what is the likelihood that the most protected fucking prisoner in U.S. prison systems commits suicide?
Where nobody else ever had.
And cameras did not work.
Yeah, and where's Ghislaine Maxwell?
Where is she? Oh, by the way, where's the list?
Do you know prior to that, they actually arrested Epstein and prosecuted him, and he worked a deal, and they gave him 6 months of house arrest.
In Florida.
Do you know that plea deal exonerated and counted for all the other co-conspirators or people, his partners in crime, right? But they never named them. It's just fucking absolutely. It's like sending Martha Stewart to prison for insider trading, but Nancy Pelosi, fucking, it's fine for. They literally passed a law that it's okay for them to have the information and trade because they wouldn't be able to trade otherwise.
We celebrating the fucking anti-corruption office that Ukrainian president's office established while fucking Biden Jr. does what in Ukraine?
Right.
The fuck out of here.
And then they just found 20 family members that millions of dollars were sent to each of Biden's family members. Fucking insane. So leave them with a little bit of hope here. What would you want to tell them? What's actionable? Give them something that they can actually do today and move towards next year, for instance, that would make their life better and be more free.
You want to change the world? Start at the button where you have power. It's called me button. Change fucking yourself.
I like it.
Push that button first.
I like it.
You know what I mean? Fuck changing the world. You start by changing yourself. How is it changing yourself? Watch what you eat. Spend more time outdoors. Find a church. Find a good woman. Start growing your own fucking food. Get a gun. Learn how to use it. Get in physical shape. Learn how to fucking fight. Read books. Not the motherfucking stupid fiction shit and all that stuff. No, the good stuff about communications, about philosophy, about fucking religion, about whatever. Stop listening to stupid music. Stop watching motherfucking video clips of fat ass bitch shaking her ass and demanding that she's accepted as new sexy. No, cunt. You are ugly. You are disgusting. Okay? Don't be afraid to call things what the fuck they are just because you're going to be ostracized by society. Do you want to be part of this society that lives around you? I fucking don't. I moved the fuck away from the society as far as I could, and if I could further and afford it, I would do it even further. You know what I mean? I want to fucking, I know it sounds cocky, but I'd rather soar with few eagles than mingle around with a bunch of motherfucking doves.
Or turkeys.
And turkeys.
Yep.
Yeah. It's lonely up there, but the ones that I meet, I can motherfucking spend months talking about shit that's important and doing shit and coming with the projects and collaborations and helping each other, or just fucking have a good time where we don't need to get even drunk to have good time and fun.
Just do good shit.
Just do
good
shit.
Do shit that you know in your heart is the right thing.
That's it.
And then the right people will show up.
That's it.
They want to be a part of it.
Press the fucking me button. Don't fucking look at others to criticize others. Oh, this motherfucker is... Fuck this motherfucker. The only motherfucker that matters is you.
Yeah,
look in the mirror. Start there.
I like the me button. You should do a T-shirt with that on there.
Let's talk that. You do the T-shirt.
Okay, last question. People keep asking, right? This has come up several times, and I think you're a good person to ask of it. What do you think the rite of the passage for a boy to become a man should be? It's obviously going to be different for different people, but...
Yeah, I think, rite of passage for the boy. Honesty. Can the boy overcome his fear of punishment, short-term discomfort of being punished, of being prevented from using his phone, his game console, or whatnot, to do the right thing and to say it every fucking time and make it into this is how I'm going to be every day. to be honest.
How do we instill that?
Punish him for mistakes he makes, reward him for the honesty of him admitting his mistakes.
And if he admits it, then obviously there's no punishment.
No, there's still punishment for mistake. But there's no punishment for lying. And make punishment for lying 50 times heavier than punishment for mistake. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which chapter in 12 Rules for Life it is, but it says don't lie. Tell the truth, or at least don't fucking lie.
Who's 12 Rules for Life?
Jordan B. Peterson.
Yeah, and in the second one he's doing.
Yeah.
Always,
it's
always
already
pet a
out.
cat.
It's already out, yeah. The other 12 rules. But I think the biggest rite of passage is not the push-ups. It's now if he can shoot a gun or he takes jiu-jitsu or whatnot. It's honesty, man. Because honesty is not honesty. You know, when you teach them to be honest with you, they cannot help but to become honest with themselves.
Mm.
Okay, so what you teach them is fucking self-reflection in who the fuck am I? And unless you know who the fuck you are, you cannot fucking adjust the course of where you're going. The earlier we can teach that, especially to the boys. Girls just as well, you know. My wife is about to post something that feminists will probably gonna put her on the fucking hit list. You know, there's that saying that weak men create bad times create strong, you know, that thing. What creates weak men also? Vain women. So she's writing a big, and she has ability to write like Ayn Rand.
Yeah, I've seen it.
She has ability to write. So she gave me to kind of like proofread some of the thing, and I go like, you understand that most women are gonna want you fucking beheaded and executed for this shit. She goes like, they're not women. They actually a shame. They're not women. Real women want a strong man. They don't want no fucking weak man. They want the motherfucker that they look at and they go like, I can't wait to get this motherfucker back home to bed.
Yep.
I want this toxic motherfucker between my legs. You know what I mean? This is healthy, man. This is normal. This is traditional family values. You know? And then, yes, we can go to church and pray, and then we can read the scriptures, and then we can play basketball with our child and all that shit. After the motherfucker helps me with the house chores and all the other stuff, and if he lies, he gets fucking punished. You know, that's a nuclear fucking family. That's the way it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Bring back the fucking tradition of what's meant to be. Oh, it's a toxic tradition of abusive this and no equality and all that stuff. Celebrate the motherfucking difference between the man and his woman. He's his king, she is his queen. Fucking you read scriptures, women are elevated.
Yeah, the powers that be can't have that, right? Because then you don't need them.
The God is all powerful. He could have just put his son on the earth.
Yeah.
He elevated a woman
to
deliver it. She's the most revered human being ever.
Yeah, they need you to
Mother Mary.
They need you to need the state, not your husband. That's why the first thing they do when they put you on welfare is the man can't be there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've sold that line that a woman's of no use unless she provides and brings income, right? So we send now both parents out of the house. So who raises the kids? The school raises the kids. The state raises the kids. And then we send our kids someplace for 8 hours a day for, 12 years. And then we wonder why our kids hate us, because we send them to people who hate us. Teachers don't have kids typically.
But then again, John, look at the reasoning behind that, right? What became important? To read the book and to teach your son and daughter, or to buy a newer, faster car?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When credit came in.
Consumerism.
Yes, absolutely.
Consumerism. You know what I mean?
In 71, when we came the rest of the way off of the gold standard, up until 1971, if you had money in your bank account, it actually earned more money if you let it sit there. After 71, it worked the opposite direction.
But we became fucking addicted to materialism because we think it somehow increases our self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing against nice things.
Sure.
Absolutely nothing. But I don't live for it.
Sure.
If through my work, somehow it rewards me, in financial ways and all that stuff, I'm not opposed to having a motherfucking F-450 with everything imaginable on that bitch and then some. You know what I mean? I'm not opposed to that. Do I live for it? No.
Yeah.
No, it's not my goal.
Yeah. You can live just fine with that. I think a lot of people are going to soon be living without any of that.
And guess what? They have zero skills to even feed themselves.
That's right. That's right. Fitness is free.
Yeah.
Go swing a fucking axe, cut some wood.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for sitting down.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
Cool.
It's weird that, I guess it's not weird, maybe, but it's odd that people sitting in this chair have very similar conversations and none of them know each other.
It's not weird at all, man. It's not weird at all. I have traveled the world and I met people like this in Australia. I have met people like this in Japan. I have met people like this in Canada. I have met people like this in Mexico. All over Europe, in fucking Brussels, Belgium, I have met people like that. You know what I mean? French guys I met like that. I have a French student who just moved to Austin relatively recently, you know, and he speaks with an annoying French accent, and he bought a fucking gay BMW little car and all that stuff. But before he bought BMW, he bought a Glock and AK-47.
That's awesome.
You know, and then he signed up for a lifetime training with me, you know. And now he's fucking magical. He's the guy who Bart Stewart said, you know, when that French motherfucker hit me, he goes, it rearranged my organs. He goes, like, I never thought that French people are able to do so. You
Awesome.
know, and I'm like, dudes like that exist.
That's awesome, man.
All over the world. It's not like, you know, phenomenon of American conservative countryside.
So if people want to follow you on social media, or they want to reach out to you, or they want to give you money and take a class, where do they do that?
I have a website, sonnypuzikas.com, one word, Sonny Puzikas.
Can we make sure that's in the tags and stuff?
sonnypuzikas.com.
We'll get it in the click-through links.
Under the same name, Sonny Puzikas, you can find me on few social media things. I know, and James Yeager and you bust my balls that I should be on Rumble and on this and that. I'm only on Facebook and Instagram. But I did open an account on OnlyFans.
Okay.
It's going to be funny. You're going to love it.
Foot fetish?
No, it's gonna be very unique, but you'll see. It's gonna be funny as fuck. I do it for the humor, but Megan goes like, "This actually has potential to be your biggest revenue."
Awesome, right on.
So yeah, it's just it was one of those sober moments where, because I don't drink anymore, almost never, unless it's special occasion or after the class with students. But it was one of those where I'm like, what if I open the fucking, you know, and I'm gonna call my channel Wargasm.
You already have it.
Yeah.
Okay, because some asshole will take it.
It's not public yet.
But you own it.
Yeah, I own
okay,
it.
good.
Yeah.
You need to go buy that URL right now, too. Buy that website. You got a couple weeks before this comes out. Make sure you own wargasm.com and .net, because some other asshole will buy it.
Okay. Thanks for advice. I appreciate that.
Just go get that
so
shit.
by the time you see that, I own it.
And while you're doing it, get the Instagram and the Facebook and all that shit. Just have it all locked up.
Okay.
All right, guys, if you're listening to this on any podcast apps, we're starting to put these up on podcast apps. Primarily, they go up on our private membership YouTube pages. You guys see those about 3 months before they go out public to everybody else. Sonny, he's out. He's easy to find. If you just search Sonny Puzikas, even if you spell his name wrong, I know I just said it wrong, you will find him. There is a lot of history out there. Reach out to him. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook. Talk to him. And it's different than anything you've seen. Like, check it out and just listen when he talks. He's got a podcast he does, and he does some lives on Facebook. At least I used to see him on there. Well worth listening to. You guys will really enjoy it, and it'll open your eyes to some things.
Appreciate that, John.
All right, man.
Thanks for the plug.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE, got the tools to survive. Yeah.